All right, here we are at step 3 in the 5-step process, managing discomfort. So when I come back to the basic premise here is that when we find ourselves drinking against our will, drinking that we don't really want to be doing, it's because it's in reaction to some sort of discomfort. And our desire to solve the discomfort with the drink is greater than our ability to resist the temptation or the urge to drink. I talked about the fact that this discomfort has 2 forms. It could be just sort of raw desire because of the nice qualities that we like about alcohol. It could be the taste, the buzz, camaraderie. But probably more important is the fact that we experience a certain amount of negative emotion in our life. And some of us that can be pretty strong. It can be very specific emotion, resentment or anger or regret over specific events or situations, or it can be kind of a generalized cloud of angst and frustration and irritation with the state of the world and traffic and work and all that stuff. And we want that to go away. So let's talk about where emotion comes from. Some emotion comes from acute events. You see a snake, you're going to feel fear, or somebody runs at you with a crowbar, or you're getting ready to walk on stage. All those things are going to arouse emotion, and it's pretty in the moment, pretty hard to counteract. There's not a lot of thinking involved in that sort of emotion. But in our modern, safe lives, most of our emotion comes from our thoughts. Our thoughts about the past, about how things should have been different in the past, or we should have been different in the past. Our thoughts about the future, our concerns that we're going to be homeless and destitute, and that our partner's going to leave us, or we're going to be lonely and broke for the rest of our lives. Or thoughts about the present, about the fact that things aren't the way they should be, that we ourselves aren't how we should be, our wife isn't the way she should be. We think something like 6,000 thoughts a day, and they all create some emotional reaction. And what is this reaction? Well, our brain, in response to these thoughts, it doesn't really have a good sense of time. It doesn't know that we may be thinking about the past or the future. It's sort of timeless. It's part of our brain that says, ooh, there might be a problem here. I have to get ready. I have to prepare. And it's actually adjusting our physiology in preparation to do the next best thing to maintain our security. And that might be our physical security, but a lot of our emotional experience as modern people is social security, is the emotions with maintaining our place in the tribe, our status, being accepted, not being cast out of the tribe. So a lot of our emotions, are less about physical safety and more about sort of our social safety. And so our brain perceives threats, or it wants to prepare us to best manage threats, and it changes our physiology. So our heart rate changes, our breathing rate changes, our blood pressure changes. Whether our blood is going to our stomach and our intestines to support digestion versus is being shunted to our extremities to have us prepared for action. Tensing our muscles. Our physiology is being adjusted all the time. And then there's other parts of our brain that are noticing, he's tensing up. This must be excitement or fear. It's kind of making an interpretation. So that's maybe a bit more complexity than you need to know. But basically, our thoughts cause our physiology to change. Other parts of our body notice those changes in physiology, and that's an emotion. And managing the discomfort, let me back up. This is all kind of happening as a black box. Most of us are oblivious to this. We're not aware that there are actually sensations that can be felt and observed that reflect anger or fear or shame or guilt. And when we are oblivious to them, but they're happening anyway, that's when they have a lot of power for us. That's when discomfort can drive our drinking. So what we want to do is bring our awareness onto this and really start to engage with our emotions just as sensations in our body. And before I tell you the how of how to do that, let's talk about exercise, for example. If you've exercised hard and you've done 10 burpees or a 60-second plank or whatever, a plank that's as long as you can hold it, or you sprinted for 100 yards, or you've climbed 6 flights of stairs, you've experienced some pretty strong sensations of discomfort. And let's say if those came about because of exercise, you volunteered for them and you were able to manage them. They weren't a big deal. And what you're going to do is you're going to find out that the sensations that drive you to drink are actually very subtle and very mild. And when you start to see them in that way, and then you start to realize, wow, I've been living my life reacting to this very subtle sensation in my belly and drinking in response to it, or eating sweets, or if you find, God, I've been raging at my family, basically in order to make a sensation of tension and tightness across my chest go away, you're going to say, whoa. So this is what I mean by managing discomfort. And so I'm going to teach you how to do it. And really, this process, there's some questions. There's some ways to kind of interrogate yourself in real time. There's nothing really special about these. The idea is just to sort of keep you connected so you don't drift off into distraction, into thought or into your phone or something. You can really be engaged with these feelings long enough to let them be there, to observe them, and very often it'll be to watch them dissipate. That's pretty nice when that happens. So the first question you want to ask when experiencing an emotion, let's say you're facing the opportunity to drink and you don't want to drink, or you at least want to, even as an experiment, not drink for 15 minutes, but you really want it. You're really feeling an urge. Or it could be you want to kind of interrogate the emotion of the edginess, the angst, the tension that you feel at the end of the day, that first drink is going to turn down the volume. First thing you want to ask yourself in a situation is, there's kind of a fork in the road, left or right. Do you feel open, expansive, relaxed, calm, or is the feeling, kind of the general feeling, is it more constricted, tight, tense? And generally so-called negative emotion is going to be in the latter camp. So then you want to get a little bit more specific. So do a scan of your body, and maybe in the process of scanning your body, you'll feel your feet in your shoes or your feet on the floor. You'll feel your butt in the seat. But if you keep looking, particularly in your upper half of your body, you're probably going to find some sort of a sensation. And so kind of focus in on that sensation, and the way to sort of stay attuned to it without getting distracted are to consider some questions like, is it constant or fluctuating? And if it's fluctuating, is it pulsing or throbbing? Is it changing slow or fast? Another question, is the sensation fast or slow? So even constant sensations can have an aspect of being fast versus slow. What is its texture? Is it hard or soft or damp or jagged or smooth? And it's maybe these are weird adjectives to apply to the sensation that's a result of changing blood flow in your body. Doesn't matter, but I think if you'll apply yourself and try this, you'll be able to sort of stay with your emotion in a way that will let you understand it, see its subtlety, and see that it doesn't need to be solved with the same urgency that you've wanted to solve it in the past. Another question is, does it have a color? What are some of my other questions here? Here's one is, what does it make you want to do? Imagine if it were 10 times stronger. What would be kind of your raw animalistic reaction to it? Would it be to run away, or to curl into a ball, to climb into a hole, or maybe to lash out and fight? Imagine what a stronger version of it would make you do. And you can ask yourself, why is it here? And maybe an answer will come to you, and you can get some good insight, or maybe not. But the whole point is just to use these questions and use this approach to move towards the discomfort, to not be oblivious to it, and start to get some perspective on it and say, this modest sensation of butterflies in my solar plexus, or tightness in my chest, or, for example, for me, the urge to drink shows up as extra saliva in my mouth. And when you're oblivious to it, it's like, I just want to drink. But when you start to notice, hey, I just got some extra spit in my mouth, I can deal with that. I don't have to react to and solve to that. Then you're going to be well on your way to managing this discomfort, to taking away its power to drive your behavior. All right, that's it for lesson or for step 3.